This video I'm going to talk about how to know if the woman you are with is the one for you, or really just the red flags to look out for that'll tell you that she is definitely not the one. And we're going to get into this in detail because I don't want you to make a decision that you shouldn't be making, because a lot of guys will get with a woman, they'll deal with manipulation, they'll deal with lies, they'll even deal with betrayal like my dad did, and still get married to the woman thinking that he can turn it around, that they can get back to this better place, that something better can happen in the future. And so his loyalty overrides his own sense of self, his own sense of personal power, his own sense of actually being worthwhile and that he actually matters. And I don't want that to happen for you. When you get into a situation like this, it can be a slippery slope. What you're tolerating now is something you wouldn't tolerate before, but you've just gotten so accustomed to it, so slowly indoctrinated to the toxic behavior, you don't even see it anymore. So this video is designed to help you see this clearly and understand that if any of these things are happening, it just can't be helped. You cannot be with this person. My name is Baxter, and I help guys in betrayal situations. I've coached thousands of men. Tens of thousands of men have come through my doors in one form or another. I've had over 3,000 guys come through the Betray to Badass program. And that's what we do. We'll get you to that place where you make the right decision for you and your children. The first one is pretty obvious, I think, but if she's tearing you down instead of building you up, she's not for you. If she belittles you, if she knocks you down emotionally, if she shits on all your dreams, hopes, if she guilts you, shames you, and generally any of the kind of manipulative behavior, gaslights you, she's not for you. Because if you're a powerful man, you aspire to be a powerful man, do some big things in the world, you need somebody who's going to be your constant cheerleader. You can't have somebody who's just tearing you down. Like, how are you going to build anything? How are you going to build a business? How are you going to make $1 million and leave a legacy for your family if you've got somebody, the person who's supposed to be closest to you, tearing you down all the time? It's not going to happen. I have worked with so many guys who are trying to build some big ass shit, but they can't get their feet off the ground because when they get home, they're walking on eggshells, and she's got this little voice in his head just highlighting all of his insecurities and installing new insecurities that just sabotage him when he goes forward. Or he spends more time in his business, and she's telling him well, we'd be happy if you spent more time with us. And he's like, well, I'm spending all this time in the business because you want to go on these vacations. And I'm making all this money because you're overwhelmed, so I got the housekeeper. And I'm making all this money and you're overwhelmed, so I got the nanny. Tell me you want this handbag, you want this vacation, and this is where we're at. And he's like, he's damned if he does and he's damned if he doesn't. So he's working his ass to the bone. But at the same time, because this is what she wants, and at the same time, she complains that he's never there. And she says this is why they have all these relationship problems. And so if she's tearing you down the whole time, doesn't give you the space to do what you need to do and really encourage you and uplift you and tell you that you're an amazing person as your biggest cheerleader, she's not for you. This next one's pretty crazy because when I ask guys this question, they don't know how to answer it. So I say, does your wife have empathy? And he's like, well, I think she does. Okay, let's back it up. Can she put herself in somebody else's shoes? I think so. Well, everybody but me. Okay, well, what does that mean? Okay, does she actually know what it's like to suffer and feel bad for somebody else when they're suffering? He's like, no, she's not like that at all. She doesn't have any empathy. She can't think of other people, how it was, how her actions affect other people. And if you're with somebody who has low empathy or no empathy at all, you're not in a relationship. I'm sorry to tell you, you're in a power and control dynamic. Because if they don't have empathy, they're not going to try to relate to you. They don't really care about you. That's what empathy is. I can care about somebody because I can relate to the human experience that they're having. When they're happy, I can feel happy. When they're sad, I can feel their pain. When a guy's with a woman like this, it's just whatever he tolerates, he encourages, and she'll wear him down with guilt, shame, and manipulation. And so if you're with a woman who doesn't have much empathy at all, it's just not going to work. It can be helped. Now, it doesn't matter how much wishful thinking you have, and it doesn't matter how hard you try, it's never going to fucking work. I'm sorry to tell you, if you're in a marriage like this and you've been with her for 25 years and you want to have this amazing spiritual, soul-seductive connection with this person, it's just not going to happen. She doesn't have the proper foundational material to have an adult relationship, especially to take it to the spiritual level that you endeavor. This is not going to happen. I'm sorry to tell you, brother. So you have two choices. One, just get cool with that and stay with her. Or two, you're going to have to leave her and find somebody who actually has empathy, can actually empathize with you and be your biggest cheerleader. The worst guys in this situation are powerful entrepreneurs, because powerful entrepreneurs attract people who like money and are willing to manipulate to get it. Why? Because he's so focused on his business, he's not really looking at the inner workings of her. And what she does is she leverages his performance-based love mindset. In other words, a lot of entrepreneurs have this mindset of, If I can make enough money, if I can show how much influence I have, if I can prove to be amazing and awesome, people will finally love me. And so she'll leverage this against him. And so the manipulator is very smart. Like, well, you're just not working hard enough on this marriage. You're just not getting me what I want. You're not meeting my needs, but we never really identify what those needs are. And she doesn't want to identify what those needs are, because if she identifies what those needs are, that entrepreneurial badass will go and start hitting all those things. And when he hits all those things and they don't work, the game is up. So she'll play this game of never-ending goalpost movement to try to keep him giving her stuff. And this is what ends up happening with the entrepreneur. Like a lot of guys who are like blue-collar guys, they'll just get frustrated and say, fuck this, I'm out. They'll just stop trying. But the entrepreneurial guy, the thing about him is he's got the indomitable spirit. Like he's never gonna give up. He's gonna figure out and solve this problem. But the thing is, he's asking the wrong question. The question isn't, how do I make this work with her? How do I make her love me? The right question to ask is, how do I learn to love myself and attract that which I desire into my life? Not to change a person. And so if you're in a situation where the woman doesn't have empathy, you're not in a relationship and it can't be helped. So you might as well just go, because again, it can't be helped. You cannot change it, nor should you. It is not your job to teach people how to be good people. Point number 3 here is, if she's constantly complaining, if there's always drama, if there's always something happening. And so what ends up happening is when you're with somebody who has toxic personality traits like narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy, I think that's the dark triad, is there's always drama following them everywhere. And it's like this cloud of bad luck as well. It's because karma's always catching up to them constantly. And so guys will be like, well, this woman, she did all this stuff. I can't wait till karma catches up to her. It's like, dude, it's been catching up to her whole life. That's why she's miserable. Nothing's going her way. But she has to keep manipulating and doing all these lies in order to try to get what she wants, because she doesn't value herself. She doesn't believe that she could be intrinsically valuable, so people would want to actually give her stuff because they care about her. She can never see that, because she doesn't live in that realm where people actually care about each other. She lives in this realm of only the strongest survive. Everything's always a battle. I got to manipulate and lie and cheat to get what I want. And this causes constant drama in the person's life. And you're going to find that when things are calm, she's going to create problems. You'll be just coming home, there's nothing going on, everything's calm and peaceful. You're like, hey, baby, how you doing? And she's like, well, I could be better. You're like, what the fuck? What happened here? And she's like, yeah, goes off on all this stuff like, well, baby, it doesn't have to be, and then she just snaps your head off. It's like there's always this constant drama going around, and then apparently the drama is blamed on you. And this is the worst part. She creates all this drama that she says is somehow your fault. Well, I was doing fine until you said all that. Now you've ruined the entire evening. It's like, okay, all right. Well, apparently you put your entire emotional agency on me, and you blame me for how you feel, which is incredibly immature. We are all completely responsible for the emotions that happen to us. You can do something, you can say something, but I have to choose to feel and respond in this way. And if you don't notice that there's a choice happening, it means you're very unconscious of yourself. You're not very aware of what's happening within yourself. And so you just live in this reactionary, animalistic state, quite literally like an animal. And so this is what's happening with her. In this place of constant drama, constant conflict, this is what's normal to her, by the way. And so she's pulling you into this. And so if you don't want to have all that in your life, stop trying to get her to have less conflict in her life. It's better to just eject. You can't try to change somebody in this way. Now, you can hope they'll get better versions of themselves later on, but they're still going to be this way. They're still going to be operating in this way in the future. So if you're with somebody who has constant drama and conflict in their lives, don't have it. It's better to just eject and find somebody who likes calmness and peace and harmony. Point number 4, she doesn't respect your boundaries. Somebody who has empathy is going to respect your boundaries. This is why it's super important to be with somebody who has empathy. Because if they have empathy and you say, hey, I don't like that, they're going to say, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I don't want to do that to you. I don't want to put you in such a position. Whereas somebody who doesn't respect your boundaries is going to get defensive. They're going to double down and they're going to say, well, I could do whatever. And they're going to justify what they're saying. Then it'll turn into an argument. And the argument usually will be endless because they don't want to give up what they're doing. They want to keep doing what they want to do. In other words, they don't care what you want. They just want to do what they want to do, and they'll bump check you all the time, see what they can get away with. And if you're with somebody who's all about power and control, they have lack of empathy, and they're always messing with your boundaries, just realize that it's not really a game of love and understanding at this point. It's a game of power and control. And so in a game of power and control, there is no relationship. Why? Because there is no relating here. You're not relating with each other. What's happening is that she wants to get away and do something at your expense. You're like, hey, I don't like this. And because you're saying, hey, I don't like this, she's going to go with this roundabout effort, guilt, shame, deflect, talk about all the things you're doing wrong. So you eventually be like, oh, you know, I'm tired of just arguing. I'm going to walk away, which means she won. She didn't have to agree to the boundary. She wore you down. And now she learned something else. She can wear you down and you'll just keep taking it. And then you'll come back and try to make peace with her later on. She's like, wow, okay, well, not only can I do the thing he hates, I can just wear him down when he complains about it. And if I do that enough, he'll stop bringing it up altogether. What you tolerate, you encourage. And this is what she's doing to you. Most guys don't notice this game of manipulation. The game of manipulation is, I'm going to bump check him on something that I want to do and cross his boundary. He'll complain about it the first time. Then I'll have a big fight about it. It'll blow up and he'll be like, I don't understand what's going on. I'll wear him down and then I'll come back and then I'll freeze him out or give him silent treatment to where he's like, hey baby, you know, we don't have to be fighting like this. And he's trying to do this love and understanding game. And then I say, I might have another argument with him to beat him down even further. And eventually he'll stop bringing shit up that he doesn't like altogether. And I can do whatever I want. Why? Because he'll never leave me. He loves me. And when you are not willing to walk into conflict and take it to its immediate resolution or a complete resolution, which means you are going to exit the relationship, you just become a patsy for her. You just become this guy who's just like, I'm with stupid. And you don't want to be that. You want to be a guy who's powerful. How are you going to build a business? How are you going to leave a legacy for your kids if your wife's doing this to you at home? You're powerful in the boardroom, but you're a pussy in the home. Like, you don't want this. You hate it. And it causes massive rage within you, but you don't know how to deal with it because you're trying to get her to see the light. To see the light of, hey, baby, we're trying to come together and have an understanding. She sees this. Trust me. She knows exactly what you're doing. And she sees this, and she's not playing that game. You're asking the wrong question. The question isn't, how can I get her to come into understanding of me? The question you should be asking is, how do I get out of this power dynamic where she's trying to push me down and make me capitulate all the time? That's the right question to ask. The solution is you hold your boundaries and you be like a broken record. You keep talking about it. And if she doesn't capitulate in this way on reasonable boundaries, then you exit the relationship. Point number 5 is she brings out the worst in you. Now, this is a very catch-all topic on what that means. But if you find yourself like always in the dumps, always angry, always yelling, always resentful, and you're getting yourself in this place that you normally wouldn't be in, but you're always with her, always like this when you're with her, she's bringing out the worst in you. And so some people just cannot jive properly together. No amount of sex, no amount of love, no amount of romance, no amount of high feelings are going to make up for the fact that your relationship devolves into a 3-ringed fucking shit show. And so if you want to have peace and harmony in your life, you have to hold the boundary of, I'm going to have peace and harmony in my life. I'm not going to let somebody drive me to crazy things. Getting angry, throwing shit, yelling. And if she's doing this, then she needs to go. And if she's getting you down to this place, realize she's manipulating you. If she gets you to this place, you're not normally like this, then that's what's happening. I've had guys come through the Broken to Badass program. They're like, yeah, I've got anger issues. And I'm just so angry and frustrated all the time. And it's like, no, dude, you don't have fucking angry issues. You're just with a highly manipulative woman who's provoking the shit out of you day in and day out. And you finally hit your limit. You're not a bad dude, man. You're usually calm and peaceful. You just got a bunch of toxic shit in your life that you need to excise. It's like you need to take a big fucking dump in your relationship department. If you're dealing with any of these situations and you need some help with this, we can turn this around in a couple of days. We deal with lies, cheating, and betrayal all the fucking time. In fact, this is 90% of my clients are dealing with some sort of lies, manipulation, cheating, betrayal, and we can turn that around in just a week. How do I know? I've had thousands of guys come through the Broken to Badass program, and it'll work for you. At this point in time, it is just every day for us. It's every day for me. There's no story I've not heard. If you want to know more about it, there's a link in the description below. Brother, if you enjoy this program, if you enjoy this YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button so it'll pop up on other men's feed who will need it as well. And I can't wait to see you in the next one.